everybody, welcome back to Auto Scholar with Mr. B. I'm Mr. B, and today we are continuing our budget build, or what I'm calling the beater series, with this 2011 Honda Fit. We're getting it ready for my family member to be a daily driver, so I'm just taking care of a few things that will make it a better car overall, and I'm trying to do that as cheap and as quality as possible. So first thing you notice when you see this car are the headlights are foggy, they're dim looking, they're dirty looking. And so the headlights need a restoration. So normally what I do with headlight restorations is I have a power tool and I use sanding discs and all kind of stuff. And it's kind of expensive to get that equipment and make a quality job out of these headlights. So I decided, since this is a budget build, we're gonna do this the budget way. So I went to my local auto parts store and I found this kit right here. This kit's $13 over the counter. I'm gonna put the link for it in the description for the Amazon link. And this does not need power tools. It doesn't need anything except for some good old elbow grease. So we are going to restore the headlights this way, and I'm going to show you what's in this box. So check this out. Okay, so here is the kit. I went ahead and just peeled the tape off of it. Let's see what's inside it. We have lens sealing wipe. We have some clarifying compound. This is the spray lubricant for your sandpaper pads. And then you have two sandpaper pads in here, and they're double-sided. So they have different grits on them, and they have numbers on them that tells you what step to use. And then we have a base coat wipe and then a sealing wipe. And we have instructions here that'll tell you just about everything that we need to know. But so let's go over here to the car, and I'll show you how I've got this set up here. Okay, so first step you want to do is you want to go ahead and just clean this area off. Make sure that you don't have any dirt or any residue or anything on this headlight before we start. And I've already done that. Second thing you want to do is you want to take some masking tape or some type of protectant tape around here. And this is just because we're going to be using sandpaper on this area. We don't want to come over here and scratch up the paint with our sandpaper. Now, if you are really careful, you don't need this, but I always put it on there just in case. So in the steps, it says to use this lens clarifying compound first. We're going to shake this up. And basically, they want you to do this in stages. And if this works, they don't want you to go any further. But I have a feeling this isn't going to work. So we are going to put some of this. So we're just going to get a paper towel here. And we're going to squirt a little of this stuff on here. And this is kind of like the that lens restore, the plastic stuff. And just make sure this goes all the way on there. And you can already see that it's starting to take some of that stuff off of here. And this the oxidation and everything that you get off of here will more or less look like this color. And so we're going to leave that on there and let it dry. Okay, so after this dries, we are just going to wipe this off. With our, you can use a paper towel if you like, but I got a microfiber cloth here. And yeah, still needs some work. It did take a little bit of that oxidation off, but still need a little bit more work. And as you can see, we're getting more of that oxidation off on our rag. So now the next step is we're going to do some wet sanding. And so we have this spray lubricant right here. It comes in the kit, and we have our first pad we're going to use is the green. The green will have a number 1 on it, and then we're going to go to the number 2. And I'm probably going to fast forward as we buff through this because I know y'all don't want to just sit here and watch me buff on this headlight. But we're going to get wet. And you need to keep applying this so the headlight stays wet. I'm going to wet this up good. And we're going to get into it. Now you'll immediately see that milky substance start forming. And that is your oxidation coming off of here. We're just going to buff this out in circles. So I like to stop kind of in the middle, wipe everything down, and go again. What you're looking for is a uniform finish. Now, the first step, you're still going to have some dullness, and that's fine, but it needs to be the same dullness all around. And you can kind of feel in the pad when it starts grabbing, you know you're removing some oxidation, and it'll get smooth. It's a feel thing for sure. So yeah, it actually looks a little worse, but that's okay. If it starts looking worse, it'll look better soon. Again, you're just basically taking off this layer of plastic. So now we're going to go over to our tan. I'm going to flip this over and it'll say number 2 on it. And we're going to wet this back down again. As we get to the corners and the edges, you can kind of see why we use this tape. And your arm will start to get tired. Take a break if you need to. And the more time you take on this, the better the result will be. So now this is the second step done. You can see this is kind of starting to clear up now. Now we're going to use the number 3, which is kind of a teal color pad. If it starts to dry out, just hit it again. So after that third one, it's really starting to look a lot clearer. Now we're going to go to the fourth one. And the directions will tell you, you know, go up with one pad and down with the other or whatever. I just go in circles with all the pads and it seems to work fine. So after the last pad, we're going to wipe this off with our microfiber. Get it nice and dry. Then we're going to go back with the lens clarifying compound. This is basically just an abrasive paste. Let that dry. Go into the circles. Already looking a lot better. So before I put the base coat and the sealer on this, I just want to show you the difference between this side and that side here. And definitely a difference between the two sides. I mean, ain't no comparison there. So much better. Now, if I would have had a drill and some foam pads and, you know, a proper polishing compound or something like that, I could have got probably, you know, maybe 10% better on this. But for the price that we paid for this, again, that's a pretty good result. All right, so now the next step, they have this base coat wipe right here. And from the instructions, from what they said, is you need to do both headlights. You need to go ahead and polish both headlights before you open this. And I would imagine that's because it may dry out. You won't have, by the time you get the other headlight fixed, you may not have any of this, or the sealing wipe might be dried up and you can't do a base or a seal on this. So I went ahead and stopped the camera and did the driver's side. And so now they give you a little glove. I don't know if it's protect you or is it to keep you from messing up the finish with your fingerprints. But I went ahead and put it on. I try to follow the instructions on most things, especially if I'm showing you guys. So we're going to go ahead and hit this up, and it says to let it dry. I guess it's just like a primer wipe here. Okay, so now this is pretty dry. I'm just going to go ahead and just give it just a quick little wipe just to make sure that there's no dust or dirt or anything in here from just letting it sit and dry. I'm doing the other headlight over here too. So, and now we have our lens sealing wipe, and we are just going to very steadily wipe this on here. It's kind of greasy. And this is to keep this from coming back from what the instructions say. So I'm going to put this on there. And you definitely want to do this on a dry day. You do not want to have rain pop up right after you do this. The cure time for this is 24 hours. Now it says like as soon as this dries, you can drive the vehicle. But definitely wouldn't wash the car or anything like that until this sets up and dries. And if you're worrying about it streaking or anything like that, it's self-leveling, so the streaks will go away as it sits on this headlight and starts to level out. So after that, we will be finished with this headlight restoration. Just definitely let it sit for 24 hours before washing the vehicle, or you know, if you have expected rain or something like that, you need to do this when it's not going to rain for a couple of days, just to make sure. And that's it, $13 headlight restoration. Okay, so that does it for our $13 headlight restoration. And I think for the price that we paid for the materials, I think it went very well. So I'm gonna leave the link down below for the Turtle Wax headlight restoration kit. Like I said, $13. You can also get it at any local auto parts store, or pretty much, I think probably any big box store would have that as well. And only other thing that you're gonna need are probably some terry cloths or microfiber towels or something like that. So if you enjoyed this, we're going to do some more projects like this on this vehicle as we continue to get it roadworthy and ready to give to my family member. So you know, subscribe to the channel, and of course like the videos to see more stuff like this. Also, I'm on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, VK. If you're on any of those platforms, just look for Auto Scholar Mr. B or Master Tech Mr. B on there, and you'll find my content. So for now, I'm going to go ahead. I'm letting this car sit in my shop for the entire weekend. We'll come back Monday morning and continue work on it. So we'll see you next time on Auto Scholar with Mr. B.